Hello everyone, the third eye is taking you to see the world. We will back in some form. This was what Donald Trump said in his farewell speech in January. As before, Trump said, and to all of my wonderful supporters, I know you are disappointed, but I also want you to know that our incredible journey is only just beginning. Trump never said to give up, though Biden's pseudo-government has held its inauguration. Trump is always so confident and has never stopped struggle. Mr. Trump slipped the mask from the deep state to the world, and revealed the Washington swamp monster's true colors. The Americans experienced a great awakening at this time. A national battle to make America great again is brewing and breaking out. Today we will bring you some cases in which the Americans began to declare war on the forces of darkness after experiencing the Great Awakening. The first case, story of MyPillow CEO. Mike Lindell is founder of the well-known American pillow company MyPillow. He was suppressed by the leftist, his products were banned by many retailers, just because he continued supporting Trump and claimed of election fraud. Lindell is one of the Trump's most loyalist supporters in the business field. He criticized widespread voting irregularities and election fraud in the aftermath of the November 2020 election. Lindell drew attention by visiting the White House to meet with Mr. Trump, and brought some powerful suggestions by lawyers. Lindell suffered repression and revenge from the leftists after Biden won the election. Not only his personal Twitter account suspended permanently, but many retailers who support Biden stopped selling his products. MyPillow products won't be carried in Kohl's or Bed Bath & Beyond any longer. The reason was Lindell support Trump and challenged the election result. While Americans provided him overwhelming supports, his business not impacted, but has seen the direct sales increase. Online sales of its pillows were in short supply. The conservative news site The Gateway Pundit reported, Mike Lindell's company was doing well. If you ordered products from MyPillow this week, you may have received this email. They are looking at 2-week delays in orders due to the volume of orders at the company. Lindell said nothing would change him to support Trump, he will support him forever. He said retailers delisted his products, but his company could sell products online. Actually, people don't care. Pillows are not politics. Lindell called on Americans to stand up to cancel culture. He told NTD, "This is the time we have to make a stand. We have to make a stand and not back down to media and cancel culture." Since Election Day, there have been more and more cases of cancel culture. People have been denied services, fired from their jobs, or banned from social platforms because of their political views. Senior journalist from U.S. media Politico said, Trump has actually been more popular since leaving office, rather than losing political influence. Tara Palmieri is a senior journalist and co-author of Politico. She told MSNBC program on 29 January, Trump people don't want to hear anything against Trump. Actually, the more he stays out of the media, the more he becomes the smarter, this looming figure over the GOP. Therefore, this brings to the second case. The U.S. representative for Wyoming's at-large congressional district, the House Republican Conference Chair, the third highest position in the House Republican leadership, Liz Cheney ended her political career herself by voting to impeach Trump. Cheney was among 10 Republicans who voted with the Democrats to impeach Trump on January 13. The voters think Cheney's behavior betrayed them. The Wyoming Republican Party voted overwhelmingly on February 6 to censure Representative Liz Cheney, RYO, for voting to impeach then-President Donald Trump. Tara Palmieri said the overwhelming consensus that she heard from voters was that Cheney's vote for impeachment was not a vote for Wyoming and therefore she has to go. Therefore, Cheney's political career was ended. Palmieri mentioned locals believing the 2020 presidential election wasn't legitimate, and that the January 6th riot on Capitol Hill was staged by Antifa. In Wyoming, she added, a lot of people said they aren't really Republicans, that like they're for Trump. Let's continue to the third case. As known that the mainstream media have been working to suppress and discredit Trump for years, especially in the US election period, they turned black and white. Former President Trump mocked the fake news media in 2018. Trump said that when he left, their ratings would dry up and disappear finally. Trump is correct. CNN ended the final week of January with ratings dropping roughly 44% for total audience versus the prior week across all 3 hours of prime time, while MSNBC dropped 20%, Fox News rating fell to historical lows. Obviously, their ratings are all at downtrend because of turning black and white. During the US election, Twitter permanently suspended Trump's account, causing a large number of Trump supporters to leave. Social media users abandoned Twitter, Facebook over censorship issues. While the number of users of Parler who refused to oppose Trump increased sharply in the short term, million users increased that time. Parler app was lately removed by Apple and Google, and the server was terminated by Amazon. But we believe that Parler's future is definitely bright. The facts showed that how much the Americans love and support Trump. This is an invisible and immense force. He does not have the title of president now, but his prestige has far surpassed that of the president. Wayne Allen Root, author of the best-selling book Trump Rules, published an article on Gateway Expert, "The Trump Comeback Begins." He mentioned, former President Donald Trump is one of the greatest winners in world history in business, branding, real estate, celebrity, television, publishing and politics. Trump is the only person in world history to reach the pinnacle of all of those fields. And the only person to become both a billionaire and President of the United States. It's not a bad resume. Root mentioned, many critics think Trump's winning streak ended with a presidential loss. I disagree. I know the man. I understand the man. I know what comes next. It may be Trump's greatest chapter yet. Simply because Trump is relentless. He may be the most relentless human in world history. The secret to Trump's success is the art of the comeback. Every time he is given up for dead, he makes the biggest comeback yet. He never gives up or gives in. He finds a way to turn lemons into lemonade. You can't beat someone like that. You can't bet against someone like that. As I always say, NBAT, never bet against Trump. Before I get to the details of the comeback, let's define winning. Trump's critics think he just lost and, therefore, he's no longer a winner. Not true. Back in 2016, Trump won the biggest upset in political history. This time around, he added 11 million new votes. His 74 million votes were the most votes for any incumbent president in America's history. Trump also received more votes than any Republican in history. Sorry, Trump haters, but that's called winning at superhuman levels. Nonetheless, Trump lost and Joe Biden won. Democrats, Renos, Republicans in name only, and the fake news media all believe Trump is finished. So, now it's time for the greatest comeback in history for Trump and America. Here's my game plan for how Trump can make Trump and America great again. First, Trump must become the kingmaker of the GOP. The Trump army is 74 million strong. The Republican Party belongs to Trump. He should remake the party in his image. In some ways, his defeat was empowering. As president, Trump couldn't get rid of Renos and Never Trumpers, because he needed their votes. But from the outside, he can remake the party, elect allies, and end the careers of the GOP traitors who stabbed him in the back. Are you listening, Representative Liz Cheney? Trump should recruit, endorse, and campaign for Trump Republicans in each GOP primary where they're running against Renos, Never Trumpers and backstabbers. 74 million Trump voters will vote for his chosen candidates in GOP primaries. By 2022, the GOP will be 100% remade in Trump's image. Secondly, Trump should spend the next 4 years fixing voter fraud at the state level. Trump should recruit his billionaire buddies to put up hundreds of millions to attack this problem. Trump's goal should be to reform election law in just the handful of states that cost him the election: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Arizona. If Trump spends his time, money, and focus on reforming election laws in those 6 states, the GOP will be back in business in 2022 and 2024. Thirdly, Trump needs to raise billions from his billionaire backers to build TMN, Trump Media Network. That should include a national cable TV network, a national talk radio network, a new version of Drudge Report, called Trump Report, and conservative versions of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Conservatives will never again have to depend on the mainstream media or Silicon Valley to broadcast their news and opinions. Only Trump has the money, brand, and fundraising ability to change the media and social media landscape like this. And think of the amazing bonus: not only will 74 million Trump voters have permanent places to communicate, but if we all move away from mainstream media and social media, they will collapse. Trump will cripple his enemies and put many of them out of business. Finally, Root suggested one more idea for Trump to run for Congress in 2022. He mentioned, pick any GOP-friendly district in Florida, where you're loved, primarily one run by a Reno who stabbed you in the back. You'll win the primary by a landslide. Since it's a GOP district, you're guaranteed victory in the general election. Once in Congress, after the GOP has regained control in the midterms and most of the candidates are loyal to you, you'll be elected Speaker of the House. From that platform, you can lead the impeachment of President Biden. Lastly, let the Trump comeback begin. 74 millions of us can't wait. The third eye is taking you to see the world. Today's prophecy will end here. For more interesting prophecies, please pay attention to our next video. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts, please leave us comment below. Bye bye.